Hi friends, today we are going to discuss the greatest romantic poet of 19th century English literature was William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was not only a poet, the name that symbolizes romanticism, and he is a mirror of romantic poetry. Let us know about William Wordsworth in brief. He was born in April 7, 1770 and died in April 23, 1850. William Wordsworth was an English romantic poet along with Samuel Taylor Coleridge, who helped him to launch the Romantic Age in English literature and their publication Lyrical Ballad in 1798. And the most important character in his life is Sister Dorothy, who played a very significant role in his life. When he was 8 years old, his mother died, and later he joined St. John College at University of Cambridge in 1887. William Tyler was his teacher, who inspired him to compose poems, as well as the Lake District was also inspired him. And William Wordsworth did not serious about his formal education. William Wordsworth, H.T. Coleridge, and Robert Southey were called as the Lake District poets because they born in Lake District. The publication of Lyrical Ballad in 1798 initiated the age of Romanticism. The major characteristics of 19th century romantic poetry are love of nature, love of supernaturals, simplicity, melancholy, and revolt against artificiality. When we go through Wordsworth poetry, we find that his poetry shows all these characters, so that's why we call him as a romantic poet. But when we deal with the particular question that why is Wordsworth is a romantic poet, or why do we call him as a romantic poet, then we consider some important points that are William Wordsworth and his friend H.T. Coleridge revolt against the artificiality of 18th century neoclassical age represented by Alexander Pope. Second one is, in Wordsworth poetry, nature was the center theme, and he did not concentrate so much on society because individual was more important. And third point is, imagination made him as a romantic poet, and he gave more importance to the feelings than thought. When we talk about William Wordsworth, we never forget that his Lyrical Ballad, the publication of Lyrical Ballad marked by the beginning of romantic movement, which was contained 23 poems, and 19 poems were written by Wordsworth and 4 poems were written by H.T. Coleridge. Later, William Wordsworth added preface to the second edition in 1880 and third edition in 1802. His significant quotation about poetry, that is, poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes origin from emotion recollected in tranquility. It was taken from his poetry collection, Lyrical Ballad. Now we will move on Wordsworth's contribution to the English literature. Before we moving on his contribution, let us know about his poetry. His poetry recommends the idea of simple living and high thinking. His poetry is more needed in present scenario than ever. He reminds us that nature is the teacher. Let us what critics says about William Wordsworth. Firstly, I have chosen the name Thomas de Quincey. He was a prolific essayist of 19th century English literature. He says that Wordsworth has his passion for nature fixed in his blood. Another important critic, J.C. Smith, says about William Wordsworth that Wordsworth is a mountain, the most massive in lofty range, which is called a romantic revival. Now I will discuss some important works by William Wordsworth. The Prelude, is a semi-autobiographical poem considered as his magnum opus, and you must know what it is and how it was written. It was published in 1850, written in blank verse. The title, The Prelude, was given by his wife. It is divided into 14 books. The Prelude was known as Growth of Poet's Mind. It explores the poet's soul progress through the process of self-discovery. His another important works include The Tintern Abbey, Ode on Intimation of Immorality, Cumberland Shepherd, Leech Gatherer, Daffodils, The Solitary Reaper, The Table Turn. The poem Ode on Intimation of Immorality, Ralph Waldo Emerson calls this poem the high water mark of poetry in 19th century. His treatment of nature is divided into three stages: love for nature, impassioned love like young man love, human significance of nature. The predominant themes of his poetry are nature, man, God. He called child is the father of man.